everyone, and welcome to Flickin' Reel, your friendly neighborhood fan cast. We are your source for news, reviews, and daily discourse. And I am accompanied today, as always, back from vacation, the one, the only, the Mr. Scott Fox. How you doing,
I'm so
Scott?
glad to be back. I'm fantastic. I made it back. Great work the last few weeks while I was gone. You always pulling the major weight here, and I thoroughly enjoyed keeping up with stuff with you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I was surprised that without you, it didn't all simultaneously catch fire, but we did our best. And look at this. This is our first episode of a new layout. It's going to get a little fancier here in a second, but I want to introduce our second guest. Or well, no, I'd say first guest because we're the hosts. So this is our guest today. Anyways, that is my buddy who helped hold down the fort while you were gone, and that is Mr. Sean Wingblade. What's up, Sean?
Hey, good morning, everyone. How you guys doing?
Glad to have you joining us.
Well, thank you for having me join you.
I just finished my Mango Loco Monster, so I'm awake enough to do this.
I'm not quite finished. I'm just starting the second can because I realized I hadn't opened one in the fridge. I was like, I got to finish that one first before I crack open the second one.
Scott's sitting here like, I'm an adult.
Yeah, I have a lot of coffee, and this is from my road trip, my Grand Canyon coffee mug right here.
Oh, that's very nice. I like it.
The only problem is it's a cool mug, but it doesn't hold enough coffee, so I always have to get a refill.
Is there ever a mug big enough to hold enough coffee?
No. The answer is no.
I'm yet to run across one.
When I make coffee in the morning, I always make 4 cups in the thing, and then I add in like it's like a protein shake thing for flavor instead of like sweetener, because less sugar, hopefully. And so I always have like 40 ounces, like it's a huge jug.
That's where all the swole comes from, just coffee protein.
Yes.
And I'm gonna show this off for the first time. 3, 2, 1. Bap! Look at that. Doesn't that look nice and fancy?
Stuff around us.
And then just every so often, I think we discussed we're going to arbitrarily do this so that we can see Sean's name. But
No, Jesse, you're giving the appearance as though we're professionals. Are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah, because I always like to try to play with people's expectations. And what is that? Subvert expectations. I'm just going to be the Ryan Johnson of the podcasting sphere.
We're going straight to episode 8 just to throw this thing off the rails. 3 minutes
straight flames. All right, guys. Before we dive into topics, because we have a great mini topics, we do have a message for fans, new and old, because I'm sure that there are a few of you. We really want to grow this channel and devote more time and energy into making informative and entertaining content. And that can be achieved just most simply by taking a second to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Just make sure that you hit that bell icon so that you never miss a new upload. If you already hit it once, don't hit it again because it does you no good. Secondly, our dream does not stop at 100 subscribers, although we did hit that recently and it was fantastic. We are well on our way to 200. So let's get there by the end of the summer. That would be great. Podcasting is what we love to do, and we'd love to invest even more into this channel. You at home can help by visiting Streamlabs. Check out that link on the bottom, easily accessible. It is also pinned in the comments, so you can find it there. And yeah, your donations help immensely with building this channel into a geek-speaking utopia. Blah, blah, blah. Plug, plug, plug. Don't worry, you won't have to do anything like that until we get to the end of this show. All right. I'm going to kick off really quick because there's one topic that I wanted to cover that for right now just applies to me. Because I saw Cruella last night. It's kind of a live-action adaptation, but also not because it's a unique story from a character we've already seen, played by Emma Stone, also with Emma Thompson playing the villain of the Baroness. It's got Mark Strong in there. You have Paul Walter Hauser. Anyone that's been following the Schmodown and following me in the Schmodown, Paul Walter Hauser is in it for the first time this year. Just had a match with Josh Horowitz from MTV yesterday. Great match. I know Sean saw that.
Oh, yeah. Great match.
Dude knows his stuff. He's not just some other guy. You also might know him from I, Tonya or Richard Jewell. Fantastic actor. So it's great seeing him in there. My spoiler-free thoughts are the movie was really good. I'd say I think 8's a little strong, but 7's not good enough. So I'm gonna put it's like a 7.8 out of 10 for me. It was very enjoyable. It's worth watching. It wasn't grating. They did some unique twists and turns with the Cruella character, and they didn't do what I was worried about doing, which is too much of a redemption story, doing a Maleficent per se. Emma Stone steals every scene that she's in, and it's really enjoyable for the family. But when I say family, this isn't for small children. When people said this is kind of Disney's Joker, it is. I mean, Disney's never going to do Joker, but it is a darker story existing in the DC or the Disney universe. And the music is also one of the big stars of this film. It's got a lot of great music. The fashion's incredible. There's a lot of beautiful things to look at. And Gillespie did a great job with the direction of this. So I recommend go out and see it. Theaters are opening back up. If you got to do Disney Plus and you have a family, that's worthwhile to do. And it's $30 premium on Disney Plus. You can do that. It's never going to be my recommendation, though. So hopefully you guys get around to seeing that at some point. But with that, are you guys ready to get into our main topics?
Well, I just wanted to say I'm excited to see it in a sense, but I do want to see it in theaters just to keep supporting the theaters type Absolutely. Of thing. Like I don't want you could pay for it at home. It would be a lot cheaper. I think I have some racked up because I don't have AMC here. I have a Cinemark, and I have some racked up like free tickets. So I might end up using that to take the kids to go see it. But my kids tend. I mean, we watch Marvel movies and stuff. I think they could probably handle this, even though it's PG-13. I mean, it's Disney.
I don't think it's any worse than a Marvel.
Okay. Like, yeah.
Marvel movie.
And we're down.
It's just darker than your Cinderella.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was in that the live action movie was quite like sweet and a little more innocent than like stuff like Pirates or even what's it called? The other one. The Alice in Wonderland one.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So it has my recommendation, and Emma Stone did a great job. I really thought the British accent was going to be distracting, but she's not the only one putting one on. Paul Walter Hauser also is. And the gentleman that plays Jasper, I actually know from Game of Thrones. And so that was cool to see him in there. It's good. All right. So speaking of great casts, we're going to kick off our stories today with what I think to be a pretty great casting. And that is that we have known for some time now that Sony Pictures has been working on building up their solo Sony universe with films like Venom, Morbius, and they announced that they were going to do a Kraven the Hunter movie. And everyone was like, Gerard Butler, Hugh Jackman. There's a lot of things going around here. What I didn't hear anyone say was Aaron Taylor Johnson. So I want to go to you guys first. Scott, we missed you last week. What are your thoughts on Aaron Taylor Johnson as Kraven the Hunter?
I think it's a perfect fit, to be honest. It would not have been my first selection, but then again, every time we do one of these fantasy casts, it's kind of like everyone still is debating who's the next Wolverine, right? And a million names get thrown out there from every person you could think of, and you're trying to mentally picture it in. I would have never gone out and said, "Okay, give me Aaron Taylor Johnson," but he's got a proven track record in the MCU. With
proven
being
track record,
or not proven track
Russian
record.
accents.
Yeah, well, and he's going to pick up another Russian guy, but he was pretty good as Quicksilver, but he was also awesome in Kick-Ass. He's done the superheroes thing quite a bit, and so I'm all for it. And I started looking at pictures today, and there was already some people who I don't think Boss Logic had one, but doing that type of thing where they're superimposing the face of Aaron Taylor Johnson on the character of Kraven, and you can totally see him in that part. He has the physical ability, he's got the size, the strength, he's got pretty good acting chops. I'm all for it.
And Sean, thoughts?
Heck yes. I like Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think he has done, I never saw, what was the one with Amy Adams, Sharp Objects or something? I can't remember the name of the movie, but I never saw that. But in all of at least the superhero fare, the action stuff, he's killed it in all of those roles. Even in Godzilla, I don't feel like he didn't have a lot to do, but he did well at his part of it. And a lot of people have been dissenting at the idea of him playing two characters in the Marvel universe in the MCU. Technically, we don't know where Venom fits in yet. It could be
true. They've
especially
been doing
since
a lot of like vague, interesting connections. Like it appears that Vulture's going to be in Morbius. I've seen that there's some descriptions of what this movie's going to be that seems to hint at a connection to the MCU. It's all getting really, I don't want to say convoluted, but it's interesting to say the least.
I think there's a lot more going on behind the scenes between Sony and Marvel that we're not privy to yet, but it'll all come to light, especially when, Doctor Strange comes out. They might merge the multiverses together. They might blow it wide open, create doorways, who knows? And he plays one character in this universe, plays another in the other. Plus they could just make him look completely different. We got, is it Gemma Chan now playing Minerva and Cersei in Eternals?
Yes. And let's all just give Sean full marks for remembering both of those names. Two of the more obscure Marvel characters.
I wonder why I would remember these geeky names. But and there's other characters too. There's other actors that have played too, big or small. If you find a good character, and I think they can easily make him look different than
Interesting. And why have Adrian? Oh no, that's Morbius. So is Morbius more connected to the MCU than Venom is? It's all very convoluted. Why don't you just have your own Spider-Man? I think that's what they should do.
I think Matt's been writing Venom questions for a certain trivia league, and he just wants to get it out of his head.
You touched on it with the multiverse stuff. They could very well blow it open to where Sony could have their own Spider-Man, and then you reintroduce Spider-Man into his own or into those movies and bring him into that universe and separate him out from the MCU Spider-Man pretty easily, as if you're really going with the whole multiverse direction with it, which is what everyone believes is what's coming with No Way Home.
Overall, I'm a big fan of this casting. I like Aaron Taylor Johnson. Everything that I have seen him in, I have liked him in.
Yep.
Like what was said before, he wasn't given much to do with Godzilla, so there's not much to comment on. It's not like he did anything wrong. They're not well-written human characters. They just exist in those movies. Yeah. Like, am I going to fault Alexander Skarsgård for like Godzilla versus Kong? No. I mean, I actually love that movie, but I'm just saying like the human characters weren't anything exceptional.
The characters in the Kong and Godzilla universe are there just to remind you that there are humans on Earth still,
right.
And that it is not just like they don't do a whole lot to propel the story or create plot or anything. Anybody tuning into those movies knows this is all about that. So Aaron Taylor Johnson didn't do anything wrong. That movie was not meant to be a dramatic movie at all.
Right.
It was meant to, hey, this is the guy to tie us between this town and this town so that we can follow Godzilla across it.
Yeah. Well, with that, we now have to begin our trailer talk because our next 4 categories of conversation are all trailer based. It's been a big week for trailers. I want to start with kind of one of the things that kicked it off. It's kind of reverse order of what's on here, but I think it's an important one to cover. Let's talk about Eternals. It wasn't that long ago that we got a Shang-Chi trailer from Marvel, but now we're getting our first real look at Eternals because before this we had like 6 seconds in like a Marvel video. It was nice, but now we get a look at the characters, the designs, some of the interactions. I think this is more of like a conceptual teaser a little bit. It very loosely showed you what you were going to get, but it did show that visually, I think this movie is going to be different than anything we've seen before. Now with Academy Award winning director Chloe Zhao, and also Nomadland got the Film of the Year or Best Picture. And you can see it carry through over into Eternals. What did you guys think of the trailers, Sean?
I'm surprised they didn't use that as a tag on the trailer.
Yeah.
And I think it was anticipated too. A lot of people thought, especially if Chloe was gonna get the top prize at the Academy Awards, which was on ABC, that they would have actually dropped this trailer weeks ago, maybe during the broadcast or something. But obviously they didn't do that. And I thought they would have added it in there just for a little bit of clout, but maybe you just don't need it. You want to let it stand on its own. Maybe that'll come in trailer number 2 or the official trailer. This was the teaser, right?
Yeah.
It looks good though. And it looks like it has a certain vibe to it for sure. I was more excited about the concept of it because I know nothing about the Eternals. And I knew nothing about Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's one of my favorite MCU movies, one of my favorite, superhero movies in general. And then you get the acclaim from the behind the screen as well. So I'm excited all around. Plus, I don't know, maybe it's the Star Wars fan of me. Like, I'm so much more excited about the cosmic stuff than some of the heroes here on Earth for whatever reason. Like Guardians, Thor, I'm all down for.
A couple phases of like Earth-based heroes and stuff. It's always exciting when we get something that we've never seen before. Granted that this seems to be taking mostly place on Earth, but I think the story, the background, origins, and everything is very cosmic based. And I'm fascinated to see what implications there are for these characters having existed through so much of humanity's past and history. Because they said it sounds like they've been around for like hundreds, if not thousands of years, and they said that we've never interfered.
7,000 years or something. Was that a number just being thrown around?
Maybe. And it's until now. And you got to wonder, it's like, okay, so aliens attack New York, not enough. London gets wrecked in Dark World, not enough. Aliens and Thanos show up, not enough. So we know that this movie's going to have to deal with the deviants, which are kind of like the equal and opposite versions of the Eternals. Thanos being like kind of the remnants of the deviants. So it's going to be really interesting how this ties everything together. We don't have a clear vision of the villains, really.
Well, clearly they needed to take a step forward out of kind of the background of where they've been for however many thousands of years, because even in the teaser, it even says there at the end, Cap's gone, Iron Man's dead, who's going to lead the Avengers? And I love that Kit Harington's Black Knight, Dane Whitman, is like, I could do it. And everyone starts laughing at him.
It's Richard Madden's Icarus.
Oh, sorry, Richard Madden is Icarus. But still, the idea that he's interjecting, he's interjecting himself as though I could lead the Avengers, and they all like chuckle at him, like, yeah, right. No, seriously, not
How great does Kumail Nanjiani look?
He's shredded. He looks
outstanding.
They all look like this is like hot people in space with powers back on Earth. that's
I love that
the full
it's
title of the movie.
They are the like eternal cosmic X-Men. And there's all these like different powers and stuff that they have. Seeing Angelina Jolie is never not going to throw me off for a Marvel movie.
She's just being a badass with a bow staff with a knife on the end, cutting down curtains, apparently.
It's crazy to think, like, especially when we've had movies like Endgame, this still might be like one of the most, at least to this scale, stacked casts that we've ever seen in the MCU. And then like Brian Tyree Henry, who was recently in Godzilla vs. Kong and Into the Spider-Verse. I'm really excited. The second they got the cast together, like at first I was like, oh, okay, a new Marvel property. And then they got the cast together and I was like, this is my most anticipated Marvel movie. The teaser didn't show a lot, but that doesn't change that it's still like my most anticipated film.
Do you know anything about their powers? I know nothing about the backstory of them, and I don't want to look them up per se to see their storylines, but like as far as their power set, you saw Brian Tyree Henry, like, melding gold.
He's like their tech scientist kind of person, but he can like do some manipulation stuff. I think they all have some form of energy manipulation. Angelina Jolie is like the main warrior. I believe Selma Hayek is their leader, and she can actually speak with the Celestials. That's one of her powers. And then you have a character, his name is escaping me right now, but she has super speed. And
was the little one, I think.
Yes. What's really interesting about that is they have made it so that she's actually deaf, and they cast a deaf actress.
Oh, that's cool.
One of the benefits or the interesting spins on that is that her sonic booms when she runs don't affect her because she's deaf.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, a sonic boom, if you're really paying attention, doesn't affect the person going through it because they're moving faster than the sonic boom. As soon as they break, the boom is behind them. It will only catch them as soon as they stop. But that's just nerding out on actual physics.
Dr. Scott Fox.
This has been your moment in science.
Yes.
Scott Fox.
Reading Rainbow.
The cast, the diversity of the cast is just really great because the last thing we need is another
a white man. No.
The cast is fantastic in this. It's packed end to end, and it's diverse. It's something different, and it did have that. You touched on the Guardians of the Galaxy. It has that ensemble cast feel, but what I like about this one is it doesn't feel like it's overtly trying to be super hip. Anyways, it's the teaser at least was very kind of subtle, and it just kind of introduced things. It also did some things to kind of maybe help use some imagery to paint kind of culturally the triangle shaped spacecraft, right? Well, in our cultural zeitgeist, that's a UFO type of thing. And then people always associate that with aliens and all kinds of other things. And is it possible that's just the internals interacting with humans over time that's been built into our psyche? They did some cool things with the teaser to plant those seeds of thought. And maybe they have been engaged in what's been going on for thousands of years, just not in a forceful, we're making things happen or interjecting. We're just kind of maybe Watchmen style. Like we're just here kind of keeping an eye on you guys.
It's kind of what people or like the Vikings and stuff believe the Norse gods to be, or like the Greek gods, is that they would come in and they would give man fire or light or like something that helped them grow and like start their evolution. And you can see that these Eternals are being worshipped basically as gods because they've had a hand in like not human evolution in like a physical sense, but the evolution of technology and growth and stuff. And they've taken their like expansive knowledge and given that to them. I'm really interested to see almost more everything that's happened until now. And then I guess I'll be curious about what's going to happen next. But I want to know where they've been, the whys, the hows, and all that stuff. Not since Guardians of the Galaxy have I had a property where I was just like, wow, I know nothing and I can't wait.
Same.
It's also kind of how I feel about Shang-Chi too, to be honest.
Yeah, the great thing is the MCU for this next phase going forward has so many questions out there, and we really have no answers as to what direction they're heading. And all these movies that are lined up and stacking on top of each other are all basically setting the stage as we move forward. And so we have all these questions like, how does this interwork with everything else? And the great thing is soon when we see all these movies by the end of the year, it will kind of help pave the way for the future of the MCU and where we're heading. Because right now we kind of got the endpoint for the first major round of 20 movies, 22 movies. And now we get to set a fresh stage for, okay, well, here are we progressing. And what villain are they going to tease? It's going to take 20 more movies to catch up to.
Yeah, that's the other interesting thing is like, how is the Eternals going to impact the rest of the MCU? Is this like our next big step into what Phase 4 ultimately will be?
Yes, big time. Hashtag Galactus.
That's right. That would be,
but not a Cloud Galactus.
No, make
Fox.
it
no.
make
We need
it
Cloud
a being of some sort.
2.0. Galactus, played by Matthew McConaughey.
Can I just say, when I went on my road trip, I got home from my road trip, and my brother-in-law, who was watching our house while I was gone, was watching Rise of the Silver Surfer. And I just was thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, at the end of this movie, they crap on a mighty villain and then have his servant kill him.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Before going on to the next trailer, I just have to say, and I think I've told Sean this, my favorite Stan Lee cameo is actually in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, because it's the only time Stan Lee by name plays himself. When he's going to the Richards wedding, and they're like, "You're not on the list. I should be on that list. I'm Stan Lee." Anyways,
that's funny.
Hey, me and Scott know this guy.
Hey,
Hi,
hey, Andy.
Andy.
Long time no see, man.
Andy McKillop, one friend that I have from many years back that needs to find his way on this channel to talk some Star Wars. Do you guys think you know Star Wars stuff? Whew.
Holy mackerel.
He's got
a fountain of knowledge.
Andy, if you're in the chat, can you please let us know how many Star Wars tattoos you have?
Oh, geez.
Because
he's committed.
It's phenomenal. But
not only Star Wars tattoos, some of the best Star Wars tattoos.
Oh, they're so good. They're so good. I wish that he could put pictures in the YouTube chat. All right. So with that, yes.
So everyone has been bringing it up just because we're all excited for X-Men, but the Eternals, from what I understand, all about creation, right? They were created in conjunction with the Deviants, which I know
the Celestials created both of them. Yes.
Right. So maybe we can create another, race and a mutagen of some sort. It can be the offshoot of maybe how we get X-Men going forward.
13 Star Wars tattoos. I like that. And there's actually, I was hearing from, I think it was New Rockstars, one of the channels that I was watching, is Angelina Jolie's character, something with a TH. Thank you.
Athena.
This side. She in the comics, I believe, has a kid that she has to hide away. What if a long time ago, like the Eternals procreated with humans and slowly revealed that mutants came from that?
Like Apocalypse style? Are you rehashing that directive? It's possible.
Well, we can't bring back Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse because he is now officially confirmed as Moon Knight, because worst kept secret in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he finally posted a photo of himself with a whole bunch of the concept art behind him. So I think we can check that box.
Yeah.
I checked that box months ago, but whatever makes them sleep better at night. Actually, before we go into the next trailer, there was a plug in here for Mr. Sean.
Hey.
I believe show coming on a little later. Actually, 2.
Yes, we got quite a few shows. We got this show. We got a little show called Shark Jumpers here at 10:30. And then over on my channel, watching with Wingblade, there's my name over there, Wingblade, easy to find on YouTube. We are going to be reviewing season 1 of the Mighty Ducks Game Changers and a little retro review of the movies themselves and how, kind of the franchise, how much we love them. I got a whole cast of characters, including Mr. Matt Thomas in the chat.
I heard one of my favorite actors from Letterkenny is in Mighty Ducks. I
can't remember his name. I'm going to look up the cast list.
Something Playfair. Daniel Playfair?
Maybe. I know I saw his picture on a bunch of other people were sharing the Letterkenny stuff, and he plays the Ducks coach.
Perfect.
And the whole concept of the show is basically the Ducks have been jaded and they're like big-headed now, and they're the bad team now. So the entire series is essentially, hey, thank you, Brandy. The entire series is about them going against the Ducks. And forging their own path so that the band of losers and underdogs can rise up again. It's fun. It's great.
Dylan Playfair. That's close. What did I say? Daniel? David? Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's Riley, I think, in Letterkenny. Letterkenny's a great show for anyone that doesn't watch that. Let me see really quick. You guys, we're gonna start talking about the Tomorrow War trailer. I'm gonna see if I can find an image for Sean here. What'd you guys think of the Amazon original? We'll go back to Scott for this one.
It seems like a standard sci-fi action movie. You go, you find some people, you launch them 30 years into the future in order to deliver a message or to help fight a war against future bad guys. It looks good. It has a very much a Live, Die, Repeat, or whatever that movie was originally titled, and they kept changing it with
All You Need Is Kill.
All You Need Is Kill.
Yeah.
Edge of Tomorrow War.
Edge of Tomorrow. Thank you.
It's a sequel, Edge of Tomorrow War.
It has that type of feel, to be honest. And I actually looked into it to see if maybe it was some continuation of that franchise, which it doesn't appear to be. It's something completely different. But I like Chris Pratt as a leading man and as an action guy, and so I'm excited for this one. It's definitely going to be luckily it's coming on Prime, so I'll be watching this one at home in the comfort of my living room. But I'm excited for it. It looks good, and it looks like something that it feels like basically your canned sci-fi movie where you've got aliens, you've got this war, you've got soldiers with special mech suits and all this types of new technology. but it doesn't feel super cheesy either. Like there's a lot of these types of movies that make it straight to video that are garbage. And this one actually feels like instead of going directly to Prime, it could have been released in the theater and probably done well.
Yeah. Sean?
It has the budget for it for sure. This absolutely could have been a theater movie. And I think we saw over the last year and a half or so that there's a ton of movies that were supposed to go to theaters that were just purchased by Netflix, Amazon, Disney. Well, Disney Plus was creating their own stuff.
Welcome to America too. Or
yeah.
Welcome to America.
Yes. Amazon, right? I think Amazon or Hulu. I can't remember.
It was Amazon.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Hulu. So all the streaming services were buying up these properties for distribution because they knew they couldn't put out in theaters. So the production companies already put the budget into them. They were already high produced. So and I think this is probably one of them. It could be an Amazon original. They just like to throw that tag on. If we buy it, it's an original. That's right. But I'm same concept. Yeah, I like Pratt as a leading guy. He seems to play kind of the same action hero in most every movie. He always has the same. He doesn't. I don't want to say he doesn't have range. It's like, but he's always playing the same mannerisms, the same kind of tone.
He's got reluctant hero down pat.
Yes, exactly.
Or should I say down Pratt?
But he's a dad in this one, so his whole goal is to get this mission done so he can get home to save his daughter.
Yeah, and I appreciate that's good motivations. I just mean like his personality is the same. But yes,
and our children.
Yeah.
A lot of people were tearing apart the trailer too when it first came out, at least on the review show I was watching. And if he goes to the future and then he dies, he never has his kids. Well, no, you didn't pay attention to the trailer. His kid's already born. Like, it doesn't go into the past and delete him from history. Yeah. So I thought they set up the trailer very well. It's 30 years in the future that we get an alien invasion 11 months from now, et cetera. I think that's why they jump back to that specific time. You know, it's at the height of, I don't know, human population or whatever. But it looks cool. It's a cool concept. I'm down to see it.
I'm going to give the trailer, the concept, the cast a resounding good enough. Like, I'll watch it, but I don't feel like the urgency, like the oh my gosh, like a couple of these other trailers. I don't think it looks bad, but it doesn't grab me. Maybe a second trailer would change that. One thing I love is that the actress from Chuck, I struggle to pronounce her name. It's like Yvonne something.
Strahovski.
Yeah. Haven't seen her since Chuck. Really like her a lot, so it's cool to see her in a movie. It's funny with Chris Pratt and all the like sci-fi stuff going on and stuff. The biggest thing for me is I was like, oh, cool, she's in it. Any last thoughts before we move on to the next trailer?
You're a Chuck fan.
I'll be honest. I am kind of excited about this, but I most likely would have probably waited for this to come onto a streaming service as opposed to pay the money for the theater. I think maybe my excitement is that I don't have to pay the money because I already have Prime.
Right.
So that may be playing into the reason why I'm actually looking forward to this movie a little bit.
Definitely.
The great thing about streaming is you don't have to sit down and watch it all at once. If it's really not a priority, you're like, I got 30 minutes here, 30 minutes here. I'll work my way through the movie.
Or if it's trash, hitting the X button to leave the movie is a lot easier than standing up and walking out of a theater.
And then driving home and telling the kids, no, we're leaving.
When you laugh
or pouring out half a bucket of popcorn to go refill it to make sure you get your money's worth on your way out.
Exactly. Which they won't do anymore. And I like Betty Gilpin too. She was in Glow and not Ready or Not, the other one. the other murderous movie about hunting people in the woods.
The Hunt?
The Hunt, yeah. That's simple. You're correct. I hope she gets more to do than whatever we saw in the trailer. I hope she's just not the wife that he left behind, and she actually get a little more action to do, because she's really good. I really enjoy her in Glow. That's the first time I ever seen her, and she kills it. So I hope she gets a little more to do.
Agreed. Let's go on to the next trailer. We got 2 more trailers to talk about. Holy smokes. But it's been a fun week. And I think for me, the most fun I had watching a trailer was Gunpowder Milkshake, which I hadn't heard a lot about, but I happened to follow Karen Gillian on Instagram, and she just kept mentioning this movie. So I was interested to see what it was. And does it look like an Oscar contender? It absolutely does not. but does it look like a cheesecake version of John Wick? Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes I'm okay with that. Sometimes I will go, it looks like a fluffier Atomic Blonde. And that sounds like a good time to me. But I'm sensing a disturbance in the force, so you guys can take it from here. Scott, your thoughts?
This literally feels like a combination of John Wick with Kill Bill. You blend those two movies. The cast is incredible for this movie, but action style, feel, everything just felt like a lot of the Kill Bill female-led action movie with the stylized gun sequences of a John Wick. As far as the action, it felt really cool, and I enjoyed watching the trailer. But at the same time, I also thought to myself, I'm like, what's the real plot here? It follows, as far as plot story, it's like trope after trope after trope as far as how the it lays out. Okay, she's doing this job for these guys, and it turns out she kills the wrong people. Now the people she was doing the job for want her, and she got to be killed by the syndicate. Okay, how many times have we seen that storyline? But even with that, it's definitely going to be something you want to see, because the action extravaganza is so over the top. You have to want to see it.
Yeah, and then they got the element of having that little kid in there and like making the comparison to John Wick. When the trailers first came out for John Wick, I think very few of us thought that was going to be a movie worth watching. I went and saw it as a joke with, Tyler. Scott knows Tyler. Mm-hmm. We were on Freight Crew at Fred Meyer, and we're like, a Keanu Reeves movie, which at this point was kind of like, it's a Nicolas Cage movie. Like, we're like, let's go see this Keanu Reeves movie. And then it ended. We all looked at each other like, oh my God, that was awesome. And so
the life, death, and rebirth of Keanu Reeves is like tenfold.
And so I think that maybe this has the potential to be something like that. Like, no expectations, you go in and it ends and you're like, wow, that was actually really fun. But Sean,
Keanu, who, by the way, is like one of the best human beings alive. At least he seems that way from all accounts. I saw
a phantom in the background of your shot.
I'm not the only dad in this show now.
Correct.
Yay!
I'm a
she's
cat
just
daddy.
shy. She doesn't want to hang on camera though. She's over there hiding. I thought this was fine. I'll see the movie. I'm not in a rush to go see the movie because we've kind of seen it before as far as the tropes and stuff like that. I thought it was a great 2.5 minute movie. I already saw the whole movie in the trailer. Every beat of the movie was in the trailer. That's my issue with it.
Was there any surprises in John Wick? You went in knowing the dog was going to die and that everybody else was going to die.
Sure, and I can't remember back to the John Wick trailer to remember exactly what the beats were, but they literally show, oh no, I don't want to fight these people. Okay, I'm fighting these people. Okay, I need help. Okay, I'm double crossed. Okay, now I need help from the other person. Okay, now here's the end scene in the library where we're facing down the whole group who's coming. They just show the entire movie in the trailer, and so that was my issue. Was just how they cut the trailer. That was my problem. Leave a little bit. We know it's a badass action movie. We don't need all the beats. Leave that out. Just I don't know.
I will say I really enjoyed Paul Giamatti in just the little bits that he's in the trailer. One of my favorite actors, incredibly versatile, but using him kind of as the voice guy behind the mafia or the syndicate, where he's the one giving the directions and then having to inform them that you killed the wrong people, you did the wrong stuff. I just love him as an actor. So seeing him kind of in there as an antagonist was heartwarming to me, because I've loved him in literally everything I've ever seen him in.
Amazing Spider-Man 2?
You beat me by a second.
Yes.
I was going to say,
barely.
The one thing that we know for a fact is that his performance in this movie will not beat Alexis Savage.
All right. There's one that he sucked in, but I don't think that's his fault.
I fully disagree. I thought he nailed Rhino. It was incredible. All right.
Listen, of the flaws in Amazing Spider-Man 2, his is kind of down. His is not nearly as bad as some of the other major issues.
You have to check off a few more.
There's
make it to the Rhino.
It's a long list.
He's on the list, but he's not top of the list.
is on it, but he isn't the list.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
All right. One that I've really been wanting to talk about, and I had heard rumblings of this movie, didn't know what it was about. I wasn't paying a lot of attention to it other than the fact that I was like, hey, I'm an Edgar Wright fan. I like Baby Driver. I would have liked to see his Ant-Man. I'm a fan of the Nick Frost, Simon Pegg films. What's he got for us now? Well, how about a thriller, a psychological thriller called Last Night in Soho, featuring Anna Taylor-Joy, and if anyone can remember the name of the girl from Jojo Rabbit, we were talking about her earlier.
Thomasin McKenzie.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Who did fantastic in Jojo Rabbit. Anyone here who has not seen Jojo Rabbit should probably watch that promptly. It's a pretty great movie.
Shots fired.
Shots
Pew,
fired.
pew, pew, pew,
Ralph
pew.
Now. I had to try to figure out which way to look to be like, am I looking the right way? This movie, like, I'm not like there's obvious things that are happening in the trailer with like this kind of like body time swap thing. That's the obvious beats. However, like the general plot and like what's actually happening underneath is very mysterious. I'm really curious about it. It's one of those things where like, wow, I really don't know what's going on, but I couldn't be more excited to like jump into this like neon filled like kind of nightmare.
This did the exact opposite of Gunpowder Milkshake, where that showed you basically the full movie storyline inside of it. This one gave you hints, but you really don't actually know what's happening or which is the real portion of it. And this might be one of the... I love a good suspense thriller, and this one had me literally gripping the handles of my chair on my desk, like watching it. It's so intense. And it was right from the first beat when you saw Edgar Wright's name come up on the start of the trailer, and then it started to roll forward. It had this really creepy feel. She's the outcast kind of introvert walking with her friends. She goes to sleep. Like when she pulls the blankets over and suddenly comes up as something else, it set this vibe and tone for this movie that made me want to see this. And I'm not generally a fan of these types of movies as much, but this one got me because it's so intense. And I love a good intense movie where you feel like you're wrapped in it from start to finish. And there's a heavy layer of the tension with mystery, with not knowing the actual plot. I think as movie fans, the three of us could probably guess most movies before it really even gets going. And this one left me like, okay, there's a lot of good questions. Plus the cast, Matt Smith's in this. You get to see Doctor Who playing a role in this thing. It looks really good. It had an incredibly good feel, and the trailer did a great job of making me want to actually see this. Whereas if you just told me about Last Night in Soho, I probably would have said, okay, maybe. But the trailer definitely made me want to watch it.
Absolutely. And to me, this feels kind of like what happens if you get like a 2-hour Black Mirror episode and have like Edgar Wright come in to direct. And I love this because Edgar Wright gave us a few different movies that very much had like the same flavor with like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and stuff like that. And is it At World's End?
At World's End, yeah.
Yeah, it's just some really fun comedies, you know, with like a lot of the same cast members. And then he gave us Baby Driver, which had funny moments and stuff, but that was a whole different feel. Like the heist, the high energy, like music video aspect kind of bits of it. And then now he's going into, and he almost gave us a superhero movie. He still in part did. He was very involved with Ant-Man, so there's still some of that feeling there. And then now he's giving us a thriller. And I myself I'm not a big horror fan, but I would say I'm a huge thriller fan. I love things like Quiet Place and Don't Breathe and things that are edge of your seat, but they're not quite horror. So I'm really looking forward to this. I don't know what exactly was happening at the end of the trailer, but that last little kind of tag with like the face and the knife and stuff really got me hooked. So I'm glad that they put that in there because it didn't spoil anything because you don't know what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. They did a good job at not covering up, at just hinting at the greater scope of the movie. Do you consider Scott Pilgrim a comic book movie, a superhero movie, or a video game movie?
It's I think yes. Yes, is the answer.
Yes, all three. Yes, that's the best answer. I agree. I'm not usually one for thrillers. I still haven't seen A Quiet Place 1, or obviously 2 just came out. I'm not. I don't know. Maybe I just don't like to be scared. I'm a little scaredy cat. Plus, I got the kids around, so I never have time to watch things on my own. So I haven't seen scary movies in 6 to 9 to 10 years in general. And also, I don't gravitate that direction. I like a few. I don't know. The last one I remember really liking is like Gothica or something, like, as far as those types of thrillers and stuff like that. I really want to see Invisible Man, what came out last year, and I still haven't seen it. Good. There's so many I haven't seen, but this is interesting, and I'm down for it. Edgar Wright always puts out a good product too. So
right, I've yet to not like an Edgar Wright movie.
Yeah. Exactly.
What's great about this one too is he's credited with doing the story, co-doing the screenplay, and so he's got a lot of his hands are all over this thing. This is really his baby as far as the whole production portion of it, not just directing it. It's always nice when the director is the writer of the movie, because you know that they're putting out their own vision for it, not interpreting somebody else's and trying to put it together. But I'm not a big scary movie guy. I don't mind them, but I'm not going to go out and actively seek out horror movies, or I don't even want to call them horror movies, gore movies, where it's just about the visual and they're trying to like gross you out. This one had a total suspense thriller vibe, where it's more about building tension, which is way harder to do. You can scare. It's kind of like a teenage boy jokes in a movie. Like you can get cheap laughs with crude humor. It's really easy. You can get a good scare with
slapstick gore and smart comedy.
Yes, and this movie felt smart. It's written and it looks, at least with the trailer, to be something that really builds. And it's not just about the jump scares. It's about the increased tension built over time, and that is something that really intrigues me, because I would rather have that any day of the week, even though I know my ticker, according to my doctor, doesn't need more of that. But I do love a good suspense thriller, and I'm with you, Sean. Because I have 4 kids, I can't go out and see, and I can't watch at home a lot of this type of movie. But this will probably be one that I will try and make an exception for, either to find the time to the theater, or when it does finally come out, I'm going to make a point to watch this just because it has that feel.
The closest that Scott gets is the boardroom scene in Shazam.
Daddy.
I have to. No, I'm diving across, covering kids' faces when that whole scene happens.
Frightening, like, especially for a kid. And I
definitely that he was a horror movie director.
Yes, you realize it. I'm so excited for now, and now it's summertime, and because when theaters finally reopened around here, they didn't reopen early showtimes, so that upset me. My kids were back in school since early April, May, like full school, not half days and stuff, since like early April or March. And I was like, cool, because I'm off on Mondays and Tuesdays typically. So I was like, cool, I can go see an early movie, 10 o'clock movie. I'm out. I can go pick them up from school afterwards. No, all the showtimes were at like 1 o'clock. Like that was the earliest. So I didn't have time to go. And that's typically my time is I'll use my my Cinemark movie club pass. Go watch a movie on a Monday. Boom. I would do weekly, at least 1 movie a week, whatever was in theaters, and I could pick an early showtime. And I couldn't do that right now. So hopefully after the summer, the world's more reopened now, and I'll be hitting movies weekly, at least one, 1 a week type of thing. So we'll see what happens come August, but that'll be my fare.
I just saw Brandy's comment that she watched scary movies younger than my kids. No excuse. I did too, because my dad was not allowed to watch any movies, so he let us watch anything. So I saw Predator and a lot of other scary horror monster movies at really young age. And that might be why I'm not as keen on them now. But I also know that some of those things might have warped some of my I always tell my wife I have to lean on her for the decision of what to show the kids, because I have no gauge, because I was allowed to watch everything as young as I was 5 years old. I was watching Child's Play and some movies that totally made me afraid to even go to bed at night. I remember seeing it at like 7 years old, the old one on TV, and that messed me up for a long time because I constantly thought something was coming out of the drain in the bathroom. But yeah, horror movies, scary movies. I think I'm gonna still take a tiny step back, and I'll just stick with the occasional suspense thriller. But if you haven't seen Quiet Place, it is like the ultimate suspense thriller. It's so good.
Same. I'm right there along the same lines, and that's probably why I'm not showing the kids these movies. I vividly remember the day I saw Candyman. I was 5 years old. I never saw the first two
Tony
Child's
Todd?
Play. Yeah,
Right?
Tony Todd. I saw Child's Play 3. I think it's the one where he goes to like military school or something like that. I was like 6 years old or something like that. Like I saw way too all these movies way too young, which is why I'm holding off on stuff.
Candyman, when the bees come out of his mouth,
Yes,
that wrecked me for a long time.
it was a bad day. Okay, so story time. So I was at a house, and they were doing construction on their garage, and I was walking through. We were eating lunch or something. I was walking through. I fell, and a nail went through my hand. And because I landed, to brace myself, and it was like it didn't go through my skin; it just went through the bottom part, but it was like poking up, like my skin was like. Anyway, so they're like, "Oh, sorry, we'll give you a treat. We'll watch a movie. Everyone will pick a movie." Da da da. They picked Candyman. I'm 5 years old. It's not a good. So we stayed up late and watched Candyman.
Did they get it
Scarred
confused with
life.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember if they watched it with us, if the parents watched it with us or not.
We know you've had a traumatic day with getting a nail through your hand.
Yes.
Let's just take that up a notch, okay?
Yes.
Let's scar you mentally as well as physically.
They weren't great parents, and for many, and I'm glad I'm no longer around them. For many a reason.
Thank you for this session of therapy with Sean
Yes.
Wingblade, Scott Fox, and Jesse Swift.
I'm letting you guys dab for a sec because I'm trying to get an image pulled up here.
We'll just talk it out.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's the reason I kind of lean towards this movie. Now, at the very end of this trailer, it did have that feel where it was borderline horror-ish, but it wasn't gore. And so the suspense built right. The last visual in the trailer really does kind of it grabs you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I this one certainly feels different than a textbook horror movie, but it has all the hallmarks of what should be a really, really good story.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly one that, and like I touched on earlier, I didn't watch that and immediately feel like I knew the whole thing. There's a lot of questions after the trailer, and I wrote my own script for a Freddy movie at 7. Wow, Brandy,
I'm putting my kids on a Zoom with you. You guys can watch all the horror movies you want.
Exactly.
Brandy's babysitting. That's
yes, you will.
Terrifying.
You will shepherd them through. No, don't hide under the blankets. No, take the blanket off your head. You have to watch this movie.
The first horror movie I
open your eyes. You have to see this.
The first horror movie I ever watched was Pumpkinhead, and it messed me up.
Oh, dude, Man, the 80s horror movies were so bad and good at the same time. Yeah, they were terrifying, but if you watch them now, they don't hold up
I feel like I need my cat over here, so I have a kid too.
Hey, this is the dad crew, right?
He's sunbathing at the moment right now. Okay, well, everybody, we're getting close to that hour mark, so I just want to say thanks for talking trailers with us. Thanks for talking Kraven, a little bit of Cruella and stuff. I haven't decided when I would like to do a Quiet Place 2 review because I'll be seeing it tonight, so hopefully we can do that. But we do have some plugs to do, and I want to let Sean go first. Give me 1 second here, and we'll have a little... Yeah.
What is this?
Hey, plug. So later, Shark Jumpers, we're talking all things Nick Cage and specifically a few movies. Hey, look, we're all staring at our God in the sky. And then at 12:30 on my channel, watching with Wingblade. There it is. 12:30. I'm joined by wonderful
Look at all those handsome people.
Yes, we got Miss Sol Govin and Colin Morris from the Ultimate Schmodown After Show. We all like the Schmodown, I'm sure. Matt Thomas from What Real Entertainment, and Jake Berlin from what has he got? Apocalypse Movies, A Certain Point of View, Whiskey Jedi on his own channel, and who's that guy on the end? I think is Patrick something. Oh, PJ Campbell, right. He likes
It's
to
pronounced
watch.
Pajaw.
He's from the Pajukin, head writer of the Schmodown and from the PJ Campbell Network. And they're all joining us because we all love the Mighty Ducks, and specifically Mighty Ducks Game Changers. This whole season was a blast. So we're going to talk it out, kind of go over our love of the franchise, where we came into it, and you just break down everything in that world, the world of the Ducks. Quack, quack.
Awesome. Fantastic. And where can everyone find you outside of those videos?
Oh, at Sean Wingblade, right below me, over here.
Oh, there it is.
On the Twitter. You can look me up on Instagram. I never post anything. I think the last thing I posted was from 2016, maybe. So feel free.
And then that's just in a few short hours.
Yes.
And can't wait to see that. I'm sure I'll find time to pop in there myself. We'll have no idea what you guys are talking about, but love to support my friends.
Thank you, Miss Brandy, for the links. I appreciate you.
And then we got Mr. Scott here at Pastor Dad Fox. And it's been...
I'm going to say I felt a little bit attacked because you're talking about plugs, and I have a severe lack of hair. I could get a sweet line right across the front here, but it's not going to help to the back as much.
Can I make a recommendation? Can you just get like one of those erasable markers and write plug on your forehead and just I'm
going to do the Homer Simpson W across the front right here in order to make it work.
You got to cover it by your band at first. Have plug there the whole time, and then just be like,
all right, everybody, let's do our plugs. And it's like
bring my hood forward and this down. Hey, it's a faux hairline.
Hey.
Back to 15 years ago when I used to have some.
Oh man. All right, guys. Well, that is it for now. I will bring this up one more time as a reminder that 10:30, which is roughly an hour from now, it'll be me, Mike Deacon, Sean Wingblade, and we'll be talking about our Lord and Savior, Nicolas Cage. We're talking about movies such as Next, Knowing, and Drive Angry. Just a couple of Oscar-nominated classics in the Nicolas Cage pantheon. Cannot wait.
Shark jump, hoo-ha-ha.
Shark jump, hoo-ha-ha. Where's my, hang on, where's the...
Did you get the soundbite?
So that's what we got going on. All right, guys. Well, until next time, thank you so much for joining us. We will be back next Saturday with another news and views. Shark Jumpers is going to be a bi-monthly show. So just the one show next week. And then I believe after that, we will be starting our weekly Loki review. We are that close. So cannot wait for that. And until we see you again, we have been Sean, Scott, and Jesse saying, keep it real until next time.